Have we taken roll call?
We have, and everyone is present except Alderman Dan, and he is on vacation.
And Tiffany is joining us via Zoom.
Correct.
We need...
Hello.
Tiffany.
There she is.
Yep.
Chewing that gum.
Eat some chips also.
We need to amend the agenda before we get started to, under item number 4, we need to add public requests and petitions of 4A for the festival committee and 4B for Kurt Hamilton.
That is correct.
So would someone like to make a motion to do that?
I move that we amend the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The agenda is amended.
Okay.
Approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting, which was May 18th? Do we have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so the minutes have been approved. Public requests and petitions.
Basically, it's not really a request, but that's where we Ryan and I put this. In the past, the Lions Club has done the wine tasting event at Jesse James Park we've reserved the first Saturday in June for them. And if I speak out of turn, let me know, Marion. They were having some trouble with getting enough people because it's a big event and not enough manpower to do that. Prior to COVID hitting, they had their last one, and then they asked if I would try and find someone to do that. I saw the festival committee, as we always do down at Missouri Fairs and Festivals, in January. Spoke with the committee. They took a vote, and they had it that they would do that as a fundraising event for their organization. That way it would help with startup costs for their actual festival. So we thought we had a good working relationship, and then COVID hit. So they didn't have it during last year, nor did they have it this June. The Lions Club came back, and I had forgotten all about this, and I said they could do this again. Well, come to find out, they're still looking for some help to do that. So I came in and talked with both the festival and the festival committee and the Lions Club and see if they would collaborate. And since we had so much time where they could get together, work together, make it a bigger and a better event, because they've done it before, the festival committee hasn't, where they could have startup costs and minimize that, plus have more help and more setup, and then share in the profits if there are any. And every year I think they do a pretty good job of getting monies for their organization. So I have asked both of them to come to see if there's any problems with doing that. We hope both of you would take on that. I know I misspoke by saying that when Steve Main came to me and said, we want to have the festival, or we want to do the wine tasting event. And I said, fine, you already have the event. We have that blocked out where we don't do any concerts on the first Saturday of June. I misspoke, and that's what I told Marion via phone. I did that, and I told Terry Carter and Dan that I hope both of them could work together, because I know they're needing some help running it, and I think the festival would still like to do that as a fundraising event, and it would benefit both of you. So, do you see any one more thing, I got, Terry Carter, who, I was working with, who we all work with the festival, said, they were going to take a vote, and he didn't think there'd be a problem if they wanted to do it themselves, that they would relinquish it back to the Lions, but if they would like some help, they would collaborate. Is that still true, Dan, or?
It's a work in progress.
No, we haven't done anything because we do not have manpower.
Let me put it this way. It's a work in progress. A lot can change between now and June. The Lions Club wants to do this. We want to be their partner, right? To help them do it. If they can't do it at all, we will do it, right? So, it's a no-brainer. I think this thing kind of got blown out of proportion a little bit because this is basically, you're going to have a wine fest no matter what, whether the Lions Club does it or the Jesse James Festival does it, or we do it together. But it's going to happen.
Right.
And we just need to work out some things until next June to make it happen.
The way I understand it, and we've talked at our meetings, that we turned it over to you, and it's yours. And we would like to partner with you. But there's lots of things that we need, lots of things that we'll need to work out, because again, we don't have a lot of manpower. And we're all old, quite frankly, and this is a big job, and we all wear out, so.
Well, and one thing, Marion, is festival is understanding a club or an organization that's struggling. We can help them. We want to do that. If it doesn't work out that way, we still would like to take the responsibility of putting it on. That's, you know, a lot, like I say, a lot can happen between now and next June.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's no problem. Mary and I have communicated with each other. There's no issues with, who does it, who doesn't do it, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna happen.
We just want to make sure, I know Ryan and I do, because if it's not going to happen, that would be an open date for us for a concert. We have guaranteed you guys that first Saturday, we'd like to see it happen.
Absolutely.
We want,
It's a good event.
it's a great event.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
We just need to get together,
Yeah.
your group and us, and work out the details.
Do you guys have any questions or comments, or?
Do you have the manpower to, if they don't have any manpower, you have the manpower to do it?
No.
Okay.
Our thing is, Ryan and I want to have that event back out there. It's way different than just a regular concert. It gets people out there. It used to be just 2 years ago when they had it. It's a great event. I mean, it's a fun event, it's a great event, and it's a worthwhile project for you guys. Whether one of you does it, or both of you, do it, it's a great way for you guys to make some money for your clubs and organizations, for startup seed money for your festival, or, your scholarships that you guys give out, to the high school seniors and things of that nature. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys working together, and I know it takes some time to get your vendors and things, so you'll want to be getting on that, as you well know, Marion, so, right, so. With that,
Since they haven't started yet, does the date work still for you and Ryan?
Yeah, the date's guaranteed for
the date is guaranteed.
We've operated like that for,
Since nothing's
better part of
happened
a
on it,
decade
this
now,
is
so.
the time to change it if it doesn't work.
Right,
I think that's a great date for them. Beginning of summer.
right.
In actuality, 2019, before it was canceled, we pretty much with Marion's help, we had pretty much stuff going on and in line to make it happen. So we know we have a good idea what it takes to do it. And like Marion says, it is a job to do, and I actually had 2 people working on it. And, we had canceled. So, we know what we're getting into.
One thing
and
that,
we're not scared, and we're not mad at anybody, and everything's good. If we can do it together, that's even better. If we can't, that's fine. We'll work it out. But, I just want to make sure you guys know that there will be a wine tasting event in June.
and one thing, we put some extra picnic tables that we used to have down at Lions Park up there, so you'll have more, not only more seating, but, those tables will be, can be used as display tables and things of that nature, those longer,
Much appreciated.
yeah. So, that's great.
So do you need anything from us?
I think we need to have a motion that, once again, the first weekend of June, there will be a wine tasting event, whether it be with the Lions or Festival or a collaboration of both.
Okay, so we need a motion that there will be a wine tasting event first weekend of June, 2022, sponsored by the Festival Committee or the Lions Club. Would like to make
I'll make that motion.
a second?
Second.
Who seconded it? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
Was that opposed or,
she said aye.
okay,
I
I'm
think
good.
there's a little bit of.
delay? Okay.
I need to pause and wait for you, Tiffany, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's all good.
We appreciate you coming and getting this worked out, and it's off of our hands, and we know that there's gonna be an event, and we look forward to having that event back out at the park. And on just a real different note, if there's something you need for us, we're getting close to festival time. Keep Ryan and I in the loop on things that you might need to have done out there that, okay?
We do.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kurt Hamilton.
Yep.
Come up and.
Come up to the podium.
So, name and address.
Kurt Hamilton, 1608 Stone Drive, Carnival. So I think I've met most of you, but if I haven't, Kurt Hamilton, the executive director of the Kearney Enrichment Council with the firehouse down the street. So I was talking to Eric and Ryan about some kind of fundraisers and ideas of things that we kind of wanted to bring to the table. So the first one was a pickleball tournament. I am a pickleballer as well now, how exciting. But it's also something that, our organization was looking to do. I know pickleball courts was kind of an amenity that Kearney was talking about adding in the near future, and when I was talking to Randy about it, it was just another idea of how we can bring awareness to something like that, to another Parks and Rec activity. We would use it as a fundraiser for our nonprofit 501c3 charity, and use the funds to, keep promoting the community with all the other events and activities that we have. So we have a date in mind, September 11th, from 3 to 8, using that, a Saturday, because I know the league goes on from Monday through Thursday. I talked to Greg about it last night, to make sure that was okay with him, and he said that would be just fine, and he would help promote it, because I know we have about 5-6 weeks on that, but we're only looking to have 35, maybe 40 teams for this first year, just to have, kind of a smaller thing in a mixed doubles kind of format. So that's kind of what we were thinking for this first year. We chose the 11th as well, because our second Saturday event's going on at the same time. So that way, if people have lulls and wait times, there's something else going on around town, so they have something to do. And also, if you get knocked out early, you can go still and enjoy a different event. So, so that's one of the events that I kind of wanted to bring up. The second was kind of a haunted walk, being located kind of in Mac Porter Park. We originally thought about just using the access road next to the Church of the Annunciation. After walking said road, it takes 6 minutes to get through it. We thought a 6-minute event might be a little sad for, what we were trying to achieve. So we kind of thought of maybe walking a little bit more through Mac Porter's trail, kind of along that part that goes with the access road and then using half of the access road. It kind of extended the route to about 15 minutes. So we have all the documentation and everything ready to go to advertise for an event like this. Again, another way, I know there used to be the haunted hayride somebody was telling me about a long time ago. The purpose of an event of like this is we don't really have a lot of things for our young adults here in Kearney. We work with a lot of high school students at the Enrichment Council now, and they're always craving new activities. When we did the drive-in last summer, people really enjoyed it, and I saw more high schoolers at our event than I've ever seen before. So we did the haunted house last year. Great, it was wonderful. We had over 300 people. Also was a nightmare to turn around your building and have a rental, 2 hours after you had a haunted house. So we looked like a madhouse trying to run and take all these decorations down. So we were looking for kind of a substitute event, and somebody suggested leading a haunted house. One of our staff did. So we thought it might be a great way to kind of get people out and about in October. So we proposed October 30th and 31st actually for the dates for that event. Well, we always do our big downtown trick-or-treat event with the city and also all the businesses on that Friday. So we thought if we saved that Saturday and Sunday, we could just do a whole Halloween weekend for the town kind of in a way, with hours kind of proposed from like 6 to 10, 6 to 11, kind of the late evening time to allow more people to get through it. So that was kind of some of the events and what I wanted to see if it would be okay with you guys. So different ways we can kind of support not only the Parks and Rec and community, but also use it as fundraisers for our nonprofit at the same time.
I did have a question specific to the haunted.
Okay.
I want to be real clear. There is no motorized trailers or anyone being pulled on trailers or anything like
Correct.
that, correct? This is
Nope.
people walking through?
Yep.
Okay,
People just walking through, so
okay,
people would pay, maybe $5 to walk through it. They would start at the Church of the Annunciation. We would use our bus or a different shuttle service to service them into Mac Porter Park so they can go at the beginning, kind of where the garage is and the playground. And then they would walk throughout the trail, kind of go all the way around and come out the access road where they park their cars. So that way they kind of just do the whole walk, but they also don't have to wait for a ride back to their car. We do that right. And we can also explain rules on the shuttle. So that way, it also controls how many people are walking through it, so hopefully people don't run into each other. Because some people are gonna walk a little slower than others, some people are gonna be sprinting through that thing.
in this case, would you be blocking the entrances to Mac Porter to prevent people from coming in, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. I have some thoughts on how you might be able to do that effectively.
Me too,
We would love support for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
because of how the trail ride happened, how we could get you in,
And that-
start and finish,
Yeah,
where people that drive out there, could still get in their cars and drive out.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, 'cause the biggest thing is, we have to.
The route.
make it
right.
dark. That's why we're super skittish on motorized vehicles and people being around them at dark and everything. There was an incident several years ago with the haunted trail ride, and, we're not looking to do that. So,
Is there a walkway between the access road and the church without having to go out onto
There's not.
33?
There is not. That's why we were talking, a different actual route, but we would still block that, little access road off. And I would think that, however they get them in, it would be in through the main road and start a different direction and end up where where everybody would be safe. And like I said, Ryan and I know what Ryan's thinking, and
Without having to walk out onto 33?
Yeah, we talked to
Absolutely.
the.
I don't either.
no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, we talked to the
Yeah.
Annunciation about being able to walk through the grass and through their parking lot. That way, nobody has to get near the highway.
at that time, the grass is gonna be dewy. I'll guarantee you that. It's already dewy in the mornings, and people that still say it's even decent weather, if they have canvas shoes or what, they're gonna be wet, and they're not gonna be happy.
We've got some ideas.
Yeah, we've got some
We
ideas
can-
to,
I think we can help you out with that.
And so Annunciation is okay with this?
Yes.
Because they have church on Saturday night.
Correct. Yes, we talked to them, we talked to Elizabeth, who is their youth ministry director, and she agreed that we could cooperate to do an event such like this.
the only thing is we need to make sure, and they are, a quasi-city funded,
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Are you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
No, that's okay.
Are you seeking a fee waiver on this?
I would like to know, I guess, what the fee would be in a way too, but a fee waiver would be great as well.
So that's, and that kind of dovetails into what Eric was, talking about. They kind of are a quasi-city organization. They use the firehouse, obviously.
They the Kearney and Richmond Council receives funding from the city.
Yeah.
It's, they transfer money back to us after,
I don't really see the point
Point
of
of-
paying ourselves.
of having a fee,
So that would be something that, since you are seeking a fee waiver, that would be something that y'all would have to,
waive.
in a motion,
Right.
waive.
We would have to waive a fee for both the pickleball court.
You would.
and the pickleball park.
You would.
Two different events, yeah.
I have a question about the pickleball tournament. Where would you say most of these how many people are on a team?
Two.
Two.
Mm-hmm.
So where would these 70 to 80 people be coming from? Is that mostly Kearney residents? Or
Yes,
is that all over the
it's mostly the same pool as the people that play in the league.
Yeah, we have
And
90
those are Kearney?
people, we have 90 people in our pickleball league.
And are they mostly Kearney residents?
A lot of them are,
A lot of
but,
them are, we do have some out-of-towners.
yep,
Uh-huh, but the bulk of it is Kearney people.
I would say
I would say.
at least three-quarters of it's Kearney people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would agree with
Maybe
that.
more.
And I play on the social evening because I have not advanced enough to progress, but there is the most people that is on that evening with about.
You guys placed last time.
No, we got fourth.
Oh.
Don't
we got
bring that
fourth.
up, my wife
Sorry.
is still bitter. So, that's why we're in round 2 of the league, because she is a lot more competitive than I am.
So that is not the weekend of the festival, but it is also the weekend of the Derby, correct?
It is.
9/11, the Derby night?
It is. And that.
What time would you anticipate that wrapping up roughly?
8 o'clock is
Yeah.
what we're trying to
You
do.
said 3 to 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
No, it's,
My mind was turning already.
And I'm not sure, but I think the Derby starts at 7, if I'm not mistaken, most of the time, 7 or 8 in that ballpark figure. But if people get knocked out, they still have a chance to run out to the,
Yeah.
and if you're not in line by 5 o'clock on Highway 33 trying to get into the park that night, you're gonna be late in.
Only about probably 10 or 20 people are even playing, probably past 7 anyway, because the rest of them have been eliminated, so that's kind of the
Again,
purpose
they'd
of.
all hang around.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that want to keep watching.
Yeah, right.
But you have to, even though you're gonna get knocked
I-
out, you'll have to stay.
I will be there the whole 5 hours. This is a fundraiser that I'm willing to lead for our organization, and same as the Haunted Walk, I'm at every one of our events. I really try to be, so that way there's some level of supervision, so, when we put our name out there, I always want to make sure that I'm representing the organization as well, just to make sure there's that extra level of supervision.
Well, I can say from a city staff perspective, Kurt's been really easy to work with. We've worked with him on, talk probably a couple times a week, something like that. Especially since he's, right there in the park, so, we communicate quite a bit. And always pleasant to work with, so we like Kurt.
And we ask that you stick around just for,
Yeah.
cause,
We want to talk about our other project too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, and I was gonna say, while I was up here as well, I didn't know if the other project was Oktoberfest, but I wanted to bring up, like, kind of an update while I was here as well,
we're
too.
gonna do that here in a
Okay.
bit.
So, yes, I have an update as well, which is some new happenings that have happened throughout the week.
So legally, no problem with the waivers,
No,
you just need that from us.
right. That and, naturally, they'll have insurance, for,
Yeah, so that would be just, I guess what we need is an approval of the event and, of each event and the waivers.
right,
Right, so,
if you're in agreement with that.
any more questions or comments?
Where would the parking be for the pickleball?
It's the same, well, so the beginning will be the only struggle. So what we do now is we park at the high school if there is kind of overflow. But the beginning will be the only real problem with the parking because everybody will know their times ahead of time. So even though it's their first game, they still might not even play until 4:15 or 4:30, and that's what Greg does, and it really staggers the time as long as everyone's well aware of the next time in their games. We plan on having one of our whiteboards that we can kind of bring out there and get magnets so we can show when their games are. We'll tell everybody their first game, of course, and then we'll tell them their next game, so hopefully stagger it. That is a problem.
Yeah, and how about, porta potties, will you have?
I think the one will suffice, because again, it's kind of like the same, when we play on Monday nights, we start at 6:30 and we go to 9, which is 3 hours, and we're only asking to stay 2 more really. So I think the one will still suffice, hopefully.
Okay.
So yeah, great question.
Porta potties for the haunted walk, are there enough out there, or?
We usually, drain the regular bathrooms at McPorter Park the first week of June, or week of November.
We're all over the place.
We drain those the first week because we have a lot of people that play fall ball. And when they had the haunted trail ride, we did have a couple of toilets extra, just so they were out by where the trailers were in case they didn't wanna walk. I know it's a park and it takes, it's a park and people are supposed to walk. People don't like to do that, but the bathrooms would be open unless we get a major cold snap, and that could happen, and if that's the case, we will drain those down.
Yeah, if that's the case, we do have porta potties available to us that we could make available to him in that scenario. I mean, typically it hasn't been that case.
Right.
But if it does, we'll work with him and figure it out, so.
One thing to hopefully avoid the bathrooms is we've talked about doing heats for the haunted walk, so people would sign up for a heat from 6 to 7, and that's when their walk would be. This avoids basically the line problem that you see at long carnivals where, 50 people show up and we're like, sorry, we're closing, because we want to have an end date, and this provides an end date for us. So hopefully, people with that anticipation, that hopefully will help the bathroom situation as well, and keep people in and out.
So when you bought your ticket, you would purchase a ticket for a slot from 6 to 7, you could
Yep.
show up at 6 or
Yep.
45.
Correct, and that would help, that would let you go any of those times. You would wait for the shuttle for, a maximum of that case, about 30 minutes that way. You would go, and you would know that, if I showed up with a ticket at 7, from 7 to 8, and I show up in the 6 o'clock heat, you just have to wait. And that's how we used to do our wine and chocolate tour with Jenny, a few years ago. And I remember seeing that, and I thought that was a neat idea, not for wine and chocolate, but something that would be easy to replicate for an event like this.
Mm-hmm. So would you take walk-ins then?
You would probably set a certain amount of overflow for each hour, so maybe you could say like 15 people could come in as overflow, but you would have to cap it. And basically, the beauty of the first night would say you could buy tickets for the next night if they're available, since it's such a new event, we want to be realistic and just cap it if we have to, compared to, it's the worst thing to turn people away, it really is, but with the volunteers being out there for 3-4 hours, I mean, they're not going to want to stay much longer either, so.
Yeah, it'll be getting cold too that night, so.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea what the ticket prices would be?
We're thinking $5 a person with a group rate. If 5 people come, then we would do $20.
And that's, is there a kid, like 12 and under free or 5 and under free?
We said 14 and up would be the recommended ages of the event. We wouldn't think that we would want 12 and under, or even 13 and under to be able to attend almost in a way. To really kind of capitalize, showing that we want it to be for that older group, and then if they're 13 and younger, that we recommend going to our downtown trick-or-treating portion instead.
Okay.
So we're trying to almost, niche it in a way, but we're really trying to go after that market of people, because that's one thing my board is advised, is that's one target market that we really don't do enough for in Kearney. So we have so many events, as it feels like there's one every week, at least there is in summer, but we want to make sure that we're still hitting all audiences.
Question? So we need a motion to approve the use of the pickleball court on September 11th for a pickleball tournament, and a waiver of the fee
make that motion.
Aye. Tiffany?
Oh,
You raised your hand.
she's, yeah,
Judith?
yeah.
She says yes.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And then what about a motion for the Haunted Walk on October 30th and 31st, to use Max Porter Park for that event and waive the fee for that?
I'll move that.
Second?
Second.
All, aye? And anyone opposed?
Aye.
Tiffany's an aye? Okay. Motion carries for that. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you for this. I am excited to update you with full event.
Thank you for your
This
hard
sounds
work.
great.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
go away,
no.
have a seat.
Yeah, I'll sit right here.
Kurt, as far as the pickleball,
Yeah.
I'm the pastor of Radiant Life Church here, and we host the winter pickleball league,
Oh,
you know,
great.
indoors. So if it became a weather issue, or even if you wanted to split it up between the two locations for, you know, for crowd control or whatever, we're available on that day as
That
well.
would be great. Thank you for that. That's exciting to know that I won't be freezing maybe.
Yeah, we got them some pretty sweet nets. Those things are cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was really, they kind of live there now, I guess, but, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
All right.
So, well, we wanted to have him update us on, the Oktoberfest, right?
I want to let him just, do that way in case he wants to go, because it was under our amphitheater
Yeah, let's go ahead and, go ahead.
events.
Max, do I have to say my name and address?
No, you're good.
So we're skipping to new business, item 3, amphitheater update?
Right,
Okay.
go ahead and do yours, and then we'll
Okay.
jump into that. 'cause it's
Concerts,
the last one.
we've had one concert, so, we had our July 3rd, and it went great. It went amazing. Probably the best one we've had in years, honestly.
Mhm.
And then we had our August 7th show. Ticket sales are really slow up until the last 2 days, and they've just exploded like it always does. And, we had a nice crowd out there, around 500 people, but, you would have been fooled. You would have thought it was more, honestly. Excellent show. Everybody had a great time, so that was great. This weekend we have Hetty and, Goddesses of Rock, and, that'll be, tickets are, the week of the show, you can kind of just see the tickets just, start, trending upward, we'll say. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But, tickets are moving up, and, I think we're gonna have a nice crowd. It'll be, from the looks of it, it'll be a really nice weather situation.
I had something, Ryan. This year, the Board of Aldermen, gave tickets to all city staff. That's kind of like a, added benefit. So city staff is now allowed, we know you guys, and the Board of Aldermen were always allowed that. But, in the past, we've had your names. Do they need to?
So the way we're doing it now is we're just giving you tickets. So see me afterwards, and I can give you tickets.
Or you can stop in City Hall?
Or you can stop in City Hall anytime and talk to Becky, and she can get you tickets. Either way.
Okay, because we used to just have your names at the pass.
Yeah, we're trying to eliminate the pass list as much as possible, because it slows down the line.
Right.
When we have a line, so.
So if you're planning on maybe going to the concert, you can come in and get tickets right from Becky. And, I'm really looking forward to this concert.
Yeah, it'll be a.
It's my first ever concert I ever went to when I was in, 8th grade.
Oh, so do you have your vintage T-shirt?
I do.
Oh, you're gonna wear it?
No.
Oh.
It's got holes in it, but I still have it.
Sure.
I still have it, and it was at Gross Memorial Coliseum in Hayes on the campus at Fort Hays State. First ever concert, I was 14.
They probably sign it for you, your daughters would love it.
And we drove over there and, without a license, and
This is recorded and live on.
I didn't drive. I said, we drove.
So, yeah, the rest of the shows, We're winding out August with our Blues Fest on the 28th. It'll be a great time, it always is. Then September 25th, we had a country tribute show, a tribute to Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan booked. Find out they double booked themselves. So they backed out, and we ended up filling it with a group called
Eastern Heights.
Eastern Heights, gee whiz. I wanted to call them Branson Heights. They're from Branson, and they're kind of an up-and-coming group, but they are just absolutely skilled musicians. They are so tight in their musicianship, and that's something that was really cool about them that we loved. And then Stephen Banke and the Flatlanders is another group that's really on the come up in the Kansas City area, and they're going to be open. So that'll be September 25th. So that's that. Now, in October, we've traditionally had our Oktoberfest on the first Saturday in October, at the pavilion. We're moving it, and Kurt's going to talk about that.
So our organization proposed doing a beer crawl in 2021. When we started trying to set up a beer crawl, none of the vendors in town really wanted to get excited about it. So instead of that, I kind of talked to Eric and Ryan about maybe moving the traditional Oktoberfest that we had downtown to here and doing it in Lions Park, Old Church Plaza, and also in Washington Street and closing down the street. So the idea with that is instead of necessarily, having it out at the amphitheater, we would showcase all the local businesses that we have around here. Use the restaurants, have, Gino's, Fat Boys, Diddy's, and the Creamery really do food throughout the day and try to, bring some of that business to them. So we wanted to do this, but we wanted to get more help than just have our own organization. So we decided to partner with the Kearney Food Pantry and also Fulfillment House, who are both great nonprofit charities in the area, but we're also looking for fundraisers. We do plenty of events, and neither of them do one. So we thought with a collaboration between the Parks and Rec Department, the KEC, the Food Pantry, and the Fulfillment House, all doing the event together under one umbrella, it could do a lot and do a lot of neat things here for our downtown, kind of like it used to be, it sounds like, as well, back, several years ago. So what we've been working on right now is kind of splitting the workload. So we chose the same date, the October 2nd date, that worked for all of us and our organizations. But we really want to do activities from 7 a.m., starting with our farmers market, all the way till 10 p.m., and have stuff going on the entire time and have tons of activities going on the entire time. So I just got off the phone with Josh McKenzie yesterday about booking a big portable stage that he wants to put on Washington Street, and we're going to be filling it with gigs and music throughout about 2 to 10 p.m. From 10 to 2 during Washington Street, we want to do the Kids Carnival, which is where we talked to them again. They brought up the idea of the Fun Fest inflatables kind of moving to downtown as well, and really putting all of our eggs in one basket in a way and really going big for this event. So with the Kids Carnival portion, this is the part that the Food Pantry is willing to lead for Oktoberfest. They want to, have volunteers for all the inflatables, get maybe petting zoos, face painting, balloon artists, all kinds of fun kids activities going on. We were talking to Studio 320 for doing a dance performance up on the stage, having a kids DJ, having story time. So we really want to use that stage, as much as we can from 10 to 2 for all of our kids activities. While that's going on, in our free time, as you would say, in Old Church Plaza, we want to be doing activities as well, such as bingo, a cornhole tournament. We want to have music going on in the band shell in Lions Park. We want to have family activities. We want to have traditional Oktoberfest activities like a sign holding contest and a lederhosen contest, so a beard contest, things like that. So the plan is to really have the party start from 7 to 12 with the farmers market, have them have their regular things. They want to have a small car show from about 12 to 2 out there with some live music, so we're even stretching down to 33 and 92 even. And then when 2 kind of comes around, we're really transitioning into more adult activities. So the kids' carnival and stuff would go away, and we would use the rest of the day to really listen to some bands, do a keg toss, and try to make this into a tradition really for our town where we can really see a bunch of people. So with some other exciting news, I've been seeking sponsors. That's been really my task since the last time that we met, and I got a presenting sponsor of $2,500 commitment today from Nelson Home Group to kind of, you know, throw a good chunk of change, and they're willing to basically pay for the stage to be there, which is great. And Tracy Tucker already threw $1,000 to help support the event as well. So we anticipate having about $7,000 of business sponsors to help make the event happen, to help pay for all the big activities that we want, which will more than help benefit, along with alcohol sales, working with the Knights in Columbus to do different things, working with Diddy's to help do alcohol. The Board of Aldermen approved the open container policy as well for Washington Street, Lions Park, and Old Church Plaza for an event such as Oktoberfest. So we're very excited to have that. That'll make all of our lives a little bit easier as well. So I think that's gonna be a neat thing, but we really have a lot pretty much on the plate, but we have a planning committee of about 10, 15 people, honestly, that come. So we have a great team that meets every 2 weeks. We're pretty ahead of it. I just published the event not too long ago. We have already over 50 people saying that they're going, and about 700 people saying they're interested. And it hasn't been live for even a week. So we've really got the buzz going, and I think people are really excited about it. We anticipate at least 3,000 people. We usually have about 1,000 or 2,000 at our Second Saturday's event. We're asking our Second Saturday vendors to come and put their booths up around Lions Park. That way we kind of attract the same audience that we've been having with Second Saturdays and kind of bring that to downtown as well. So we really think between all the different elements that we have, the location that we have, people having to drive through 33 to go home or to drive through, you know, to the fun farm during that time, we really think that it's going to be a pretty neat event. So we're very excited for it. We're very thankful for the partnership as well in the city, you know, putting extra funds to really make it really a neat thing. But I think in the long run, it's going to be something that Kearney's really proud of, so.
Where do you anticipate all these people are going?
We have several parking situations. So the Baptist Church has always agreed to let us use their parking. Same with Fry Funeral Home. Those are two close ones. We've talked to Porters about using the big grass field outside of Ply Gym. Same with Ply Gym. We've talked to them about letting us shuttle people with there, and Paradigm has agreed with that as well. You know, so we are going to close down all the parking with the car show and the activities ending on the corner of 33 and 92. That'll open another parking lot at the end of the day for people to kind of come and walk down. We've sent emails to Merrimack and seeing if we can get some golf carts. That way we can shuttle people that are handicapped as well, just in case a handicapped person parks far away, we can kind of shuttle them down to the main activities, or if you can't walk well, things like that. So we're gonna have to park all over, but I think that's part of the buzz and the fun. When you see people walking to an event, you really know that it's gonna be neat. And, you know, with all the activities scheduled throughout the day, there'll be a lot of people that'll kind of come and go. Might be people that come for just the kids' part, and then they leave for, you know, the afternoon activities, which will hopefully help stagger the limited parking that we have.
This guy's got all the answers.
Yeah.
I wish you would just.
He's got all the answers.
So that brings us to our, the next week event, which we've always had as a Kids Fest. Kids Fall Fest. Because we're incorporating all of this into the first weekend, we're not going to do our Fall Fest, but we have funds that we are going to contribute inflatables and things of that for downtown. And Marion was here, and she's been in the meetings as well, and Lions Club is going to be passing out their popcorn balls and things like that. So it's
At this.
Right.
We're really kind of rolling both of our old events into this.
Have you talked to the Optimist Club?
I have not.
Because, in the past, we have always given out all the hot dogs, like 500 hot dogs at Kids Fest. And the Rotary has given out all the drinks, pop, the Shasta Pop and water,
Okay.
right? The
Actually, it was, they helped pass it out, and Price Chopper was the one that donated. Mhm.
We do have a pretty good relationship with Price Chopper. I kind of feel like I can walk in and walk out with anything, thanks to, Kevin and his relationship. He really supports all of our events that we do. I mean, he donates in kind, honestly, over $4,000 or $5,000 every year to the Carnival Richmond Council. And he sponsored our gala not too long ago as well, where he donated the main dish for it. So I've already spoken to him about an event like this, and he said that he's always supportive of the different things that we do. And if Price Chopper needs to get something for us, that he's more than willing. Some things like broths, Fox and Fire has agreed to do broth sales for us, and they also said they would split the proceeds with the event, which is neat. Larry Pratt's in those meetings as well, so he's, the representative for the Knights as well. So we're definitely not trying to take the events, you know, we're not trying to, you know, steal what's been going on. We've just tried to come in and trying to, you know, put our own twist on it, put things back into downtown. That's one of the pillars for the Kearney Enrichment Council, so we want to make sure that we're, you know, focusing on stuff that we're wanting to do as well, but at the same time, you know, it helps local charities, which is great, puts the funds back into Kearney, which is what we want to see, and gives people, you know, something to do. It's, again, it kind of meets that target audience that we were talking about earlier that I don't think that we hit well enough for our community. So it gives them, you know, something else to do than go to the amphitheater, puts them back into their downtown and see another one of their great parks, one that's, you know, been currently developed and showcases that, especially when people come out of town. I don't know how many people I talk to throughout the week that are at the splash park, but a lot of them aren't from Kearney, which is really exciting. When we do events like this, it kind of captures the same attention. So it's really neat to see us be on the front burner of things like this instead of copying our neighbors.
I could see the Optimist Club being interested in bringing the concession trailer down and possibly passing out some free things at the kids' portion of the event, and then maybe staying and being available if you still needed a food vendor.
Yeah.
For some of the, you know, like dinner, like lunch for the kids free, but maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but,
I think that's a
I
great
could see
idea.
that maybe being,
We didn't want to say anything until we talked about this, that way, because we know you're affiliated with the Optimist Club.
Well, we didn't, you know, and I want to emphasize that we didn't take the, you know, the rolling of the Kids Fall Festival, or not canceling, but just moving it into the Oktoberfest. We didn't take that lightly. That's something we've stewed over for probably a month. We're like, God, do we do this, you know? But ultimately, this is an all-in thing for Kearney, and I think it's gonna be a really big event for the city. For the city as a whole, not, you know, the city.
We took up about an hour and 15 minutes of Kurt's time when we were sitting underneath the pavilion down there talking about this event and how we can,
Months ago,
yeah.
and I
So,
think this is a great time to do it, because everything's been canceled for so long.
right,
Everything's new and shiny now.
That if you're gonna bring it back and you wanna do it different, now's the time to bring it back and do it different.
Absolutely.
here's the thing too, that second weekend that we always have our Kids Fest out there, we always have to battle the school
Cross-country.
cross-country.
They have their big
Yeah.
invitational with
The-
50 teams every year out
Right,
there.
they're gonna have extra area for parking, and they will love us. I mean, it's gonna help them, and it's gonna help us too. You know, because we have all those inflatables and the mechanical rides. We probably won't do the mechanical rides, we'll do inflatables and things of that nature, but, you know, it's something we think we can do, and like I said, it'll help us out, and it will definitely help the Kearney School District out for their cross-country meet tremendously. They won't have to rush to get out, get the cars out of our area, we need to start our event,
You should
that
see-
type.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of you have been out there when Eric and I are doing the transition from the cross-country to our event, and it's always just been pure chaos, unadulterated.
Right, yeah,
So merging the two events, it'll just be called Oktoberfest?
Yes.
Or
right.
that first portion with the kids, is it just all gonna be into one big?
I think it'll be probably all branded as Oktoberfest though, and, you know, the traditional Oktoberfest, like in Germany, you know, you always see the big beer halls, but there's so much stuff going on. There's stuff for kids, there's concerts, there's everything, I mean.
That's why we wanna make sure in the mornings, when the parents bring their kids, there's enough activities for those kids. And then later on in the day, you know, have Mayor, do the traditional, tapping of the keg and the contests and more adult themed later you know, mid-afternoon, early afternoon till evening time. That way, we're hitting everybody. It's just not for adults, it's kids and things of that nature, and to raise funds for the food pantry. We're getting close to that time of holiday time, and, if we can raise money for them when we already have money budgeted, for our event, Brian and I said, we think that'd be great. So,
the goal of, you know, events like this for the KEC is we're really great at doing a few hour events. We have a great following, you know, for Christmas and Halloween and some of the things that we've done in the past. Oktoberfest really leverages the playing field when it comes to doing a whole weekend thing. So I think Oktoberfest is slated for a full day of activities, some where people won't be able to get to go to everything this first year. And it really opens the door to a possible Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday possible event in the future. And, you know, when I talk about things like that with, you know, Stacy Bratcher, with the Chamber, that's a goal for Carney, is to have these tourism events where people come, they spend their money, then they spend the night at our hotels, things that we don't really get to do with some of our other events. And we really start capturing people on a different level. And that's what we really want to be going after now that, you know, for me, I've been here, this is my second year, I finally have my footing now. And I start feeling, you know, ready to take on some of these bigger events and these bigger responsibilities. But, you know, we've also done our due diligence. We used the pandemic to really clean up a lot of our in-house stuff to get ready to prepare ourselves for this. We have a staff of 14 now. You know, it's not just one person over there. We have a full-on events coordinator, a full-on youth and community coordinator, you know, several people that are dedicated to this, where it's not just me doing events. I go into a committee meeting with 15 people to really put their minds together and put it on it. So I'm really excited to see the transition with some of these events, because I think it's what's best for Carney at the end of the day, which is the common goal of all the people that are on the committee.
Do you want, Connie, to give him your number, contact info for the Optimist, or do you want
Do you have something right on?
to? Here's a little, you want this sticky note?
I think I'm gonna steal somebody's paper. That would be great.
Optimist Club is a great organization. They've, like Connie said, they've done our Kids Fest for us, and with their grill, come out and do that, and, they do the Labor Day races and things of that nature.
Shelby is my daughter, and she is the president of the Optimist Club.
Okay.
So you can either contact me or you can contact her and
Okay.
talk to her.
That sounds good. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we would be,
The more people we get involved, the better. I don't think we're afraid of that, for sure. We want it just to, you know, the common goal is to benefit the city, so whatever we can do to make that happen.
that'd be great.
Okay?
Thanks for coming, man. That was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
thank
a good
you.
presentation.
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
No, yeah, thanks for having me, for sure,
That's
yeah.
gonna be
No,
fun.
we're excited. You know, it's great to have great partners with the city, not only for our nonprofit, but now, you know, with the Parks and Rec, so we're happy to be here. We're happy to do it, so, thank you.
We're happy to be partnered with you guys.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a
Good night. Work on that pickleball.
I will.
All right, and we're moving back to old business
Yep.
and youth sports.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rhino.
Okay, so, just wrapping up our spring sports, we ended up with, 62, softball girls, 108 baseball girls, 69 t-ball kids, and 194, soccer kids. And that's along with around 95 for our spring session in pickleball as well. So right now, we're just finishing up our signups for our youth flag football, our youth soccer, and volleyball. And we're having our coaches meeting Thursday night for soccer, next Thursday for flag football, and then likely the Thursday after that for volleyball. Volleyball, we're trying to leave open a little bit longer because it really needs help with sign-up. But what we kind of think happened is, since we started offering soccer, we think it's kind of cannibalized the volleyball a little bit, to be honest with you. And we're not sure how to fix that, honestly. But, so volleyball needs some help right now. So that's basically what's going on with our youth sports right now.
How many, on our soccer do we have right now, Ryan? Just rough estimate?
Roughly like 175. It's always going to be less in the fall for soccer, just as other stuff going on in the fall. But we're not too far off what we had in the spring.
And it's bigger than what it...
And actually, well, I don't know if last year is really even a fair barometer or not with everything that was going on, but we only had 100 kids for soccer in the fall last year. I don't know if that's really a fair measurement, because, like I said, because that was the first sport we offered.
But it's up from what Carney Holt Soccer League used to...
Yeah, oh yeah.
have. So must be doing something right, and it's great seeing the kids out in the park. That's the main thing is, so.
So that's youth sports in a nutshell.
Technology.
Pardon me?
Getting them away from technology.
Yes. Letting kids be kids.
All right, dog waste station?
The dog waste stations, have been installed by the Rotary. They have their emblems, that they're going to be putting on the dog waste stations. You know, there was some apprehension from other people if they would actually be used. They're being used, and it's great. It is, yes. Mayor, we asked that the Rotary Club, because we can't remember if we actually had them in when they did the basketball court. So we're gonna recognize them the first meeting, in September, because there were some members that were out of town, last night, or we would have recognized them last night, but, the Board of Aldermen is going to recognize the Rotary Club. First meeting in September for, purchasing, the dog waste stations and things of that nature, so, and the Rotary basketball court, so. The dog park has been completed, the fence is up.
Oh, good.
It would have been up earlier, but, we had some people with the city on vacation, and we got the water line in, to both locations, because it's partitioned off. The small dog park area has a frost-free hydrant for water for the dogs. The large dog area also has one. We will be pouring a concrete pad, and below that, basically, there will be a drain. That way, the water just doesn't saturate there and get all muddy and mucky and all that. We're gonna fill it with gravel, and we have a plan how to, do all this, where it's gonna be like a regular bowl with like a weep hole, where it will weep down into the ground and away from that area, so it won't be. And we anticipate, the dog park will be a work in progress. We've got a couple of the fire hydrants from the water department that we're gonna put up. We're getting some culvert, the PVC culvert where they can run through, and then we're gonna have some other apparatuses made. The ultimate goal also is to get 2 small shelters for people that wanna have their dogs out there, where, kinda like what Excelsior has, with some, benches out there, and so we're gonna keep adding to it. Right now, it's just a bunch of green open space, which that's okay.
But it's open.
Well, it's not actually open, because we are, getting ready to gravel the area off. We've moved the dumpster that used to be there. It's gone. We made a new location for our big 40-yard roll-off dumpster. It's in a different location. We're gonna gravel that area so people will drive in, like you would if you're going to our maintenance shed, but we'll have a gravel area, and I think eventually that might get paved, so.
When do you anticipate it being open?
I would say 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I would say, if, we
Based
just,
on how quick we can get the parking lot in.
right,
Maybe by the festival?
yeah. But then that, that festival naturally,
They'll close it off.
yeah, they'll close it off.
I would say into September.
Yeah, that'd be a better, but, getting the gravel parking lot for people to park, and we moved it up closer, that way it's not so far back.
We do have an official name for it too. It's,
Yes.
Jesse James Park,
Park.
so, yeah, of course.
And we've got the signs already made.
Yeah, we can't roll that back either, because the sign's made.
I thought it'd be Great Dane or something.
No, it's just James Park.
Park.
And we do have the rule signs that will go on the fence. We've already, those are already here as well. So, it'll be fun for, people to bring their
Yeah,
pets out.
we're also gonna pour concrete in the, entranceway, the 2 entranceways as well. Our some sort of hard surface, I should say.
Right.
Maybe not concrete.
So,
That's happening.
All right. The new business?
Lions Park update. We are in the process right now of closing out the grant. And, Ryan and I have been doing nothing but paperwork, to get this thing done. They've got to have this and that and this and every piece of paper that I think that they want. Thank God we've kept pretty darn good records.
Yes. Yep.
And, I just got some more information from Steve Casey, what we need to have as well. But, they've got all of the canceled checks, the paperwork. We finally did get the sign in. That was one of the stipulations, and it's up now, the Land and Water Conservation sign. That's up. We were waiting, we got a form that we have to fill out. Well, it's a request to do a final inspection. They already did it.
Yeah, they came in and just did one and.
They already did the inspection and said, we've already done the inspection, it looks fabulous, you guys did a great job, and so that's one, great.
Kinda wish you would've told us so we could've been there, but.
But they did the inspection, and, everything, is copacetic,
Yeah.
and,
We're really proud of that.
yeah. And by the way, everybody that was able to make it to I know you were, out of town, it was so hot that day in the morning. Holy smokes, man. At 10 o'clock, it was steaming, but it was a great event. It still is. We'll see people down there on a clear day all the way up until 8 o'clock. Because we've been trying to keep that grass, and we're gonna have to overseed some areas. We know that. It's, some grass died. But just to let you know, the plan is to have a sprinkler system installed this fall. We didn't have the money at the time.
Well, and the sod, to be frank, the sod was a bit of a last minute ad.
Like the last minute ad.
You know, it was originally, the sod was just supposed to be around the splash pad area originally.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the more it was reflected on and the contractors started talking to us about it and everything, it's like, do you really want to open this park and have grass seed and straw down, essentially? Not really. So, and, you know, the mayor decided that we should.
Well, and to be fair, there was movies in the park one night, and there was a bunch of tents up, and we probably shouldn't have let everybody in that area with the tents and everybody standing there, and it was 100 degrees, and,
You know, it's a fine line though, because it is a park.
right.
You know, and we want people to use it. So it's kind of a balancing act. It's like, because honestly, with the maintenance Eric and I and Ray do, there's times in our heads we're like, we don't want anyone touching this, you know, because we just got it right, you know, but that's not realistic. It's a park, and people need to use it. So
We're tired of being up at midnight and, 3, 5,
yeah,
changing hoses.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
True.
So, Jim's asked, and we're getting bids on a irrigation system, to be done this fall. That way next spring it's done, and, we'll be able to irrigate the area how it should be, so everything is getting taken care of, so.
Crazy, you would
And
have
we
to
are-
irrigate the splash park.
I know.
Well,
Doesn't seem right.
We are potentially looking at some options to, possibly try to recapture some of that water that comes off the splash park and reuse.
If it can be done,
If it can be done,
we're gonna try.
not, in a way that's not just completely unfeasible. Put that caveat in there.
Is there a water recycling grant you can apply for?
Not to our knowledge right now.
There is a system, we don't know, we are waiting on that, that some people have done. He said it's real costly right now. It's a new system, so of course it's costly, you know.
That could be something we could retrofit later on, because once the sprinklers are there, I mean, and we've actually done that at the amphitheater. We went originally from sucking pond water, big old pump, into our irrigation system out there at the amphitheater, and that's how we, fed it, but we ended up burning up like 2 pumps. Those are not cheap pumps, so we ended up, switching over to district water.
For our irrigation system out there, so. Anyway, that's that. As you all know, July 3rd, we had we haven't met since then. We had the vandalism there. Talk about disheartened them. It was unbelievable. They've been caught. Next month is the adults' first court appearance. You can bet Ryan and I will be here for that. And then we don't know.
It's not the county?
No, that's municipal.
Yeah,
The
the county will take care of the juvenile.
Yeah.
So there was about $4,200 in damage, that we have calculated, up, and we turned that into the police, so the police have the report. We don't know what's gonna happen, it's the court system, and, we'll go from there. We'll let the judicial system play out and see what happens. But, that's all we know really on that. So, anyway.
Well, I guess I kinda covered fall sports already with the,
I have one more question for Lions Park while we're still on.
Yes.
We set the rental fees for the shelter
Yes.
at our last meeting. I wanted to inquire about how the shelter rentals were going. Are they renting? Is it crazy?
they're going really well.
Really well.
So it's busy. Yeah.
Yes.
Super busy.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is really good.
That's,
I can run down and get you the calendar if you'd like to.
it's insane, yeah.
It's insane, every weekend, and then some during the week, but, now next year that people, I didn't know, 'cause no one reads the park rule sign, call for rentals, but they're finding out word of mouth, oh my gosh, so now some of these late ones, and some of them are after the splash park is done. That's okay, I wanted to have my, kid's birthday party there, and we'll play on the playground and, stuff like.
Is the splash park open past,
Labor Day
It's
is when
Labor
we,
Day's the last
is
day.
there a reason why?
it's
Well-
basically end of summer,
I was asked by,
It gets a
Yeah.
lot,
yeah.
well,
It's so hot in September though.
the problem is, kids are in school.
a lot of kids aren't, parents, kids.
On the weekends,
I wanna push it,
I mean, a little bit, but,
I really feel strongly about it, because it's not cold.
that's,
I didn't realize it was gonna close that quick.
yeah.
Most of them, in fact, our consultant says you should close it at Labor Day, open it Memorial Day, and close it Labor Day. It's beginning of summer, end of, traditional, beginning of summer, end of
Same
summer.
goes for outdoor pools too, I mean, that's basically how it's done.
We followed and, 'cause we didn't know, how long do we keep it open? When do you open it, first and foremost, and then when do you close it? And they said most of them all around the city are Memorial Day to Labor Day, so.
There's an extremely high water cost. And if there's one or two kids, I mean, realistically, if there's one or two kids, using it at a time, I mean, it gets very expensive to run that thing, just in the cost of water alone. It'll be more than $20,000 just for the time that it opened this year. There's a definite cost to it, and, at a certain point, you have to weigh whether it's actually.
Basically, we're following what was recommended to us, what most splash parks in, the city do. Steve Casey, our consultant, they have, I think, 4 now. All of theirs are shut down at Labor Day. Get them winterized, put them to bed, and.
It does take a while to winterize those.
So.
There's always maintenance that has to be done, have to be shipped off, and you wanna have them back in time, and everybody ships off their parts at the same time, so.
I was asked by, two different women to bring it up, so we brought it up.
Understood.
So you feel like because of cost?
One person has asked me,
Cost is definitely a factor. I mean, it's, you know, they're not cheap to keep open.
So how long does it take to shut it down and winterize it?
well, one thing, this year, 2 pieces are going back to the manufacturer.
Right.
When they shipped, they had dents and scratches, and that was just part of the agreement that when we shut it down,
For that, they said they'd take it back.
correct. And we want to get that done back before everybody starts getting all of their parts and things like that.
Because unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that make these features. There's like 2.
Ours is from Canada,
Yeah, ours is from Canada, so.
installed by the people down in Oklahoma. So Vortex is out of Canada.
Well, thanks, I just,
No, yeah.
No,
That's a good question.
we're taking word of advice, I think, first year, since that's what we've advertised. Next year, it could be different, but, and we'll see after Labor Day if we have a bunch of people calling to request, hey, next year, can you do it? You know, it's our very first year, so. But for the first year, I think we need to stick with what we've advertised and go with it that way, and reevaluate, the following years.
Or even weekends.
Well, the thing of it is,
Yeah, once you winterize it, it's done.
Oh, yeah,
And you can't turn the water on and off for weekends only.
Potentially, yeah.
we have to go into the computer system and,
Potentially, we could do that, but like Eric said, it's already been advertised for this year. Personally, I'm not comfortable, you know, especially when we've been basically told to.
plus on our weekends, we want our kids to be able to do our other fall activities, our flag football, volleyball. You know, games are gonna be going on Saturdays, our soccer, football, volleyball, all that stuff. We want them to be in our activities that they sign their kid up for, so.
All right, fireworks celebration?
Yes, the next meeting of the Board of Aldermen, we are going to enter into a 3-year contract with our fireworks, vendor, Premier Pyrotechnics. They were the ones that did our fireworks this year. We've got it worked out where, we will start at our base price, what we did this year, and in the contract, we can adjust it up or down, and it will be held on July 3rd for the next 3 years. We've locked in a date with them, so, hopefully, you know, this other Delta stuff will be gone, and we don't have to worry about it. They did a great job. I don't know if, you guys were out there for the July 3rd event. It seemed like people were more cordial this year.
I think people are just
Yeah,
happy.
we're happy to be out.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we did is we had, the Knights of Columbus took care of the Big Pond parking lot parking. And then we had, over by where the Carnival is for Jesse James, Festival, we had the, football team and baseball team, parking vehicles in those, our concert area and it worked out really well. We had a lot of people. Naturally, we paid them. And it just seemed to work out really well that we had a lot more people directing traffic. One goes here, one goes there, you know, so it wasn't near the backup that we had. And like Ryan said, the concert went really well.
Yeah, it was.
It just seemed like people were just ready to do something and get out, and were happy about being outside and being able to do something, so. But, yeah, we're excited about, getting a contract locked up. We don't have to worry about that for 3 years. Are we gonna do fireworks? Are we not gonna do fireworks? And that'll be taken care of. We are gonna have a small fireworks show with, Bill Scholl for the Christmas parade like we did last year. That's a different vendor, but, that will be happening as well. Ryan did the concert updates.
The fireworks show,
Yes.
this year we got Smithfield, that was canceled. It was a smaller show. Moving forward, it'll be the normal,
No.
normal, or what?
We're gonna stay with a smaller show.
Yeah. Here's our thing, we used to spend $37,000 on fireworks. And every time there'd be a shell going up in the air, we'd be saying, well, there went part of our mower. There went a piece of our equipment, you know, 'cause that comes out of our, $37,000, that's 2 mowers that we can have for 10 years. It's you know, it got to the point where it was just ridiculous.
So what was the cost this year?
15. We did a $15,000 show.
Single complaint about the fireworks.
We didn't have one single complaint about the fireworks.
That was all the info we needed, honestly.
I know a lot of people like the bigger shells and all that. Well, that final shell that went off, they gave us that freebie, and that thing was mammoth.
Yeah. It was the biggest show we've ever had.
You know, I don't wanna spend $37,000 on fireworks. I think it's a free, you know, people say, well, technically it's not free because the taxpayers, you know, that live in the city help pay for all the city, you know, so minute, yeah, the 37,000 out of the whole total budget, pretty small amount, but there's a lot.
The 20,000 you saved paid all the water at the splash pad, and they got way more enjoyment out
Right.
of that than,
Right.
For a lot
4-minute
For a lot longer,
extended
yeah.
fireworks show.
Right, with a few bigger shells, so.
That's 100% correct. That's a really good way to frame that, too. I like that, I'm gonna use that. I'm stealing that. and I'm-
Courtesy of our park board president.
Probably won't even credit you. I came up with that.
I don't have anything else.
All sports.
Well, I kinda covered that with
Yeah.
the
All
other
right.
one. I didn't even see it on the bottom.
Any more board comments or questions? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.